Now let's take a much closer look at exactly how the leaders of various Asian countries, the Caucasus region, and more generally, leaders from other regions and parts of the world have punished Putin in the year 2025 and how they will continue to punish him in the year 2026.
They just ditched him. And
let's start specifically with Erdoğan and Turkey. But here, I repeat, Putin is really digging his own grave with his own hands. We struck hard. We struck hard. We struck hard. This large cargo ship sailing under the Turkish flag was traveling from a Ukrainian port to Turkey. We struck hard. And it was this very same ship that was attacked by a Russian kamikaze drone. We struck hard. And before that, Russian drones started falling in Turkey. How do you like that?
A Russian Orlan crashed. Near Istanbul, local residents found the drone in a field. This is the second incident in a NATO country this week. Earlier, the Turks shot them down, with fighter jets as the target. Russian equipment got lost by hundreds of kilometers. Or is this brazen reconnaissance? And
indeed, the whole world is holding its breath. How and with what will Erdogan respond?
Turkey will strike back at Russia in response. There is a sharp reaction from the foreign ministry. What will the president's reaction be?
I think that militarily Erdogan will hit back very quickly and soon at the Russian Federation. But for now, the president of Turkey is acting more subtly. He is humiliating Putin on the diplomatic front, but, with a kind of military undertone, a certain flavor to it.
Turkey intends to return the S-400 surface-to-air missile systems to Russia, which it purchased almost 10 years ago. Abandoning the S-400s will ease tensions in relations with the US and NATO that arose after the deal with Moscow, and will open the way for Turkey to acquire American F-35 fighter jets, which it has long sought.
And here, friends, I suggest we dig a little deeper. This will be interesting. Yes, this is our regular segment, but why? So why does Erdogan have a pathological hatred for Putin?
Well, just because honestly, that's simply just the way it is, and sometimes that's all there is to it.
Don't lie, you nasty little Putinist, there is a specific reason. After all, in reality, Putin didn't attack NATO just yesterday or today, but actually 10 years ago. Back then, the target was specifically Turkey, yes, with Erdogan at the helm.
In 2015, Turkey shot down a Russian Su-24 after just 5 minutes of violating its border. The pilot was killed, and Putin never dared to mess with Ankara again.
Yeah, and back then in distant 2015, after the annexation of Crimea, Recep Tayyip Erdogan made the following statement. Erdogan warned Russia that it would lose a lot by forfeiting its friendship with Ankara. According to him, Turkey will not tolerate violations of its airspace by Russian military aircraft. Clear, tough, in a language Putin understands. None of that unnecessary diplomacy. And what about Putin? Nothing. He became panic-stricken with fear of Recep Tayyip. Just listen to the things he says about the Turkish leader.
President Erdoğan, as a leader, never allows anyone to walk all over him.
And honestly, I'm actually afraid to say anything about Erdogan right now because it would hurt.
To act in the interests of third countries. And
even back then, in 2014, the leader of Turkey clearly understood who Putin was, to publicly humiliate the bunker dweller at the first opportunity. Look at how, during the meeting in Tehran, Putin, like a schoolboy, waits for a whole minute until Erdogan deigns to appear. And it was right after this that the leader of Turkey told the whole world, Crimea is Ukraine.
Turkey does not recognize the annexation of Crimea. This step is illegitimate and unlawful. We have said this since the very first day the territory was seized.
And what do you think? Is that all? No, that was just a knockdown for Putin from Erdogan. And here's the knockout. The armed forces of Ukraine are destroying Russian landing troops with Turkish weapons. Take that. Sign for it.
Meanwhile, the Ukrainian armed forces delivered a precise strike on Russian fleet targets with Turkish weapons. A Bayraktar strike drone hit an enemy boat in the Kherson direction. The corresponding video surfaced on social media. The footage shows the drone delivering a precise strike on the boat in the river area, destroying it.
Yes, the Ukrainian armed forces are doing an excellent job. Do you want to own a real Russian-captured strike drone, QB? Then I have some very good news for you. The 429th Separate Regiment's Achilles Unmanned Systems Unit urgently needs to purchase a butts for delivering ammunition due to critical necessity. That's why a contest is being launched for a truly unique item captured by this unit, and it's almost undamaged. That very same Russian strike drone Cub. The QR code is right now on your screens. The terms for participation are in the description below this episode. And of course, glory to the armed forces of Ukraine.
Talk of reductions, but in reality it's all about expansion. While the whole world is trying to limit the spread of nuclear weapons across the planet, a new country has announced its readiness to produce its own atomic bombs. Despite all international commitments, Ankara has stated that it is ready to join the arms race, especially the nuclear one. Both the rhetoric of the official authorities and the progress of engineers have already reached this point.
All hypersonic weapons are designed with the capability to carry nuclear warheads. Everyone wants to strike at the very heart of the enemy.
When might Turkey transition from peaceful nuclear energy to military applications? Against whom does it plan to deploy its missiles? What can Erdogan's engineers already boast about in the field of rocketry? What are they working on right now, and how are Putin and Trump involved? We will tell you all about this in the new episode of Arsenal. Rumors that Turkey intends to become a nuclear state have been circulating for a long time. However, in recent months, this seems to have become an actual plan of the government. For example, Turkey's Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan stated that Ankara does not wish to disrupt the fragile balance of power in the region, which could trigger a nuclear arms race. But Turkey may be forced to join this race. At the same time, analysts note a drastic change in the rhetoric of the Turkish Foreign Ministry. Just a year ago, speaking at the Atomic Energy Council, the head of the ministry said that Turkey would not have nuclear weapons, as this would pose a threat to the entire region. It is not allowed
to use a nuclear power plant as a tactical weapon. It is often said that the use of nuclear weapons poses a severe threat to our clean future. Furthermore, the Middle East remains the most complex and challenging region globally.
Now, however, Ankara considers Iran to be the threat to the region. The inaction of the US regarding the destruction of Tehran's nuclear program and the Ayatollah's statements that they will continue to enrich uranium present new challenges for Turkey.
Well, and for now, from Turkey's side, this is just an attempt to simply try to test the waters a little to see how things will go. It's unlikely that this means Turkey is ready to start its own nuclear program tomorrow, but Ankara is very interested in how other powers, especially the stronger nuclear powers, will react. Primarily, how they will respond to the theoretical possibility of Turkey acquiring nuclear weapons in the foreseeable future.
Meanwhile, regarding Turkish nuclear weapons, that's still a prospect for the future, but the delivery systems for warheads have already been developed. The tasks are already accomplished. For example, Ankara will soon receive the modern hypersonic Typhoon Block 4 missile, which already surpasses the Russian Kinzhal in specifications. And even this, analysts say, is not the limit of its capabilities. Turkey showcased its new hypersonic missile at the end of last year at the International Defense Industry Fair, IDF, held in Istanbul, where the Turkish defense company Roketsan presented the Typhoon Block 4. According to their reports, this model is an enhanced and improved version of the previous one, featuring an increased strike range and significantly higher speed.
The Typhoon Block 4 achieves a long firing range, setting yet another record for the Turkish defense industry. This new version, weighing over 7 tons and equipped with a multi-purpose warhead, is capable of striking strategic targets, air defense systems, command posts, hangars, and critical facilities from a great distance.
A great distance, according to the Turkish definition, is 3,000 kilometers. That is exactly the range of the brand new Turkish hypersonic missile. Its speed has not been officially disclosed, but many industry experts suggest that the Typhoon will be equipped with an air-breathing engine capable of reaching speeds exceeding Mach 5. In addition, the missile will be able to maneuver at hypersonic speeds, making it virtually invulnerable to air defense systems.
I don't think the Turks are aiming to show that they have the fastest missile, because beyond that, a whole bunch of problems start to arise. The Turks are moving step by step, gradually, persistently, but confidently. This needs to be acknowledged. They are increasing speed and improving accuracy. They are not making revolutionary leaps. They are actively developing this missile in a highly revolutionary manner.
Noting that equipping the Typhoons with nuclear warheads in Turkey only became possible after the Russians built a nuclear power plant there. Originally intended for peaceful purposes, nuclear energy nevertheless gave the country access to nuclear technologies, and experts are certain that Erdoğan will definitely take advantage of this.
I think we shouldn't view the benefits brought by AQ solely in terms of economic gain. After this major project, the country will also possess nuclear technology, something many other countries do not have.
So today analysts say it's only a matter of time before Turkey acquires nuclear weapons. And considering Ankara's stance on the war in Ukraine and the country's willingness to become our security guarantor, and even discussions about sending Turkish troops to post-war Ukraine to monitor security on the border with Russia are in the news. For us, this is quite an optimistic outlook. Did you like this video? Then be sure to give it a like and subscribe to our Arsenal channel. The link is in the description below the video,